Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Taking Up Space on Michelle A. Mayer podcast. Always excited about coming forward, y'all. Today's no different. Today, I want to start the podcast off with sending forward my deepest condolences to the family of Malcolm Jamal Warner, Theo, of The Cosby Show. He transitioned, I believe it was yesterday or over the weekend, and he was a young man, healthy man, a strong man, worked out, did all types of sports and athletics, and he transitioned. And that's the conversation that I want to have with you today. Is that get the most out of your life. I know a lot of times it's hard to get the most out of our lives, friend, when we are dealing with challenges of life. But there's beauty everywhere. There's even beauty in the ashes. There's beauty in the challenges. God said, I will give you beauty for ashes, friend. I will turn that that you saw destroyed, that you saw crumble right in front of you. I will turn the ashes, the remains of those things, into beauty for you. You just need to walk through it. You need to struggle with the feelings, the emotions, the thought processes that you must struggle with to get through it. Because that is really what you're here to do, is to overcome and to forge that sense of spirit within you that provokes you to overcome, that provokes you to go into overdrive. This life, it seems as though, is set up in a way where you get to a certain point where you must allow all of what you know to serve you. And either it's going to serve you or it's going to destroy you. And it all depends on what you've paid attention to along the way. We look at this young man who has a family. And I'm sure he lived a phenomenal life. But it was his time to go. None of us are bound in this life forever, friend. We got that twisted. I was blessed to experience 51 years on this planet. I've been blessed with a luxury that some people just haven't had. There's no guarantee. There's no way. There's not one that's amongst us that we know of that's going to live in this physical body forever. There's a start date, and there's a stop date. And it's what you do in between this time that makes you better. Are you leaving a positive mark in your life? What could people say about you if you ever left this life? Would they be able to follow a narrative that someone spins on you? Or would they have the luxury of knowing your struggle, knowing your walk, and speaking from it in a first-person perspective, uncontaminated of other people and their judgments and their ideologies and their narratives? Have you blessed someone just by you being alive? Just by you going through your stuff of your life that will qualify you for your next? Stuff that you would have had to go through regardless. Are you blessing someone by allowing them to be privy to your walk? And even if they're not privy to your walk in the sense where you have an audience in front of you, like, many people knew this man, but could your family speak highly of you? There's none of us that will leave this life that have done anything significant where everyone will speak highly of them. They're not. You're going to have some people that say this, some people that say that, but at their core, when they speak to you of who you are at your core, could they speak to you in an honorable way? Would they? Or would they have to pull, like, okay, we really got to search? This is the question. And it all has to do with the formation of you. You form you. People say your experiences form you. No, you form you. You are the power source. It is your intellect that decides what stays and what leaves, what you allow in and what you allow out. And some things will come upon you that are so abrasive and abrupt, they will force their way into your path. But it's how you wrestle with that thing to make it serve you that you take with you. You take the experiences of the wrestle. You take the positives. You remember the negatives. But you remember them in a triumphant way because you know you overcame them. You know they know your name. You know they're going to think twice before they come at you again, all those negatives, because they know it's going to be a wrestling. Little old you. And that's the conversation that we're having today. The most valuable are the ones that play by the rules and that can still contend and dominate. The most valuable, I wrote this down, are the ones that play by the rules, yet are still able to contend and dominate. This is what makes you greater. Not by attacking people or fighting another person back from being attacked by them and just getting in the ground and in the dirt with them and doing it any kind of way that they do it. That's not power. I mean, it is in a sense, in the sense that you're able to get down there and wrestle with something like you and dominate. But there's really no glory in that. The glory is when something comes upon you, some low-level energy, underhanded energy, some sort of deceptive-ish situation, some kind of a lie or some kind of a underhanded tactic that wants to bring you down to it because of the audacity of it. Yet you look it in its face and you stand in the truth of you. And you wrestle with it within the confines and the constraints of that which you are bound to. And you still dominate. That's a champion for you. When things come upon you in life, things that, some of your most largest challenges outside of health issues amongst people, just your wrestlings with mortal men will come in the most audacious ways, friend. They'll come as something to be offended by. The things that offend you most often are the things that will take you out of your character. I'm telling you, it's the things, the audacious offenses, the lies. You're like, that is not true. And the multiplication of lies amongst people. And you're sitting there looking like, all of you all are that foolish to believe this? You don't have, any of you have a check and balance system within yourself that alerts you that you should not put so much faith in this being true. But you can't at times confront, because you confronting a lie or you confronting an individual that has come upon you to attack you only makes you look, it confuses everybody as to who's the victim and who's the perpetrator. Both of y'all look wrong. So you have to be very intelligent. You got to know yourself, and you've got to know the God within you to be able to spot the spirit of that thing and not get caught up in the drama of it, but focus on the spirit only. And take what is coming forth to you that looks like a physical battle into the spirit. The powerful ones are the ones that can use intellect to serve them by expanding their options and garnering them a win in a game designed for them to lose in. If you have ever been in a situation where you felt like you didn't have a lot of choices, things come upon you, and they always come upon you abruptly. And you're like, darn, I wasn't prepared for this, and I honestly don't feel like I have a lot of choices here. You're posed at a crossroads in that scenario. You can either look at it and say, I've got to bow to this because I don't have any power here. I'm powerless. And you can be mad and you can fuss and you can kick dust and you can do all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, you end up bowing to it because you feel like you have nothing else to hold to that can sustain you through it or that can help you defend yourself in it, help you rise above it, help you overcome it. Yet, you can also look at it if you are grounded spiritually. If you've formed and cultivated a strong spiritual alliance within your own self along your way prior to this audacious craziness that has come upon you ever presented itself, you will immediately default to that which is within you to anchor you. And that which is within you holds a library of weaponry that the experience when looking at it from a physical, mundane perspective does not lend the average person. You won't see a way to fight it with particular tools because you won't have them. If you fight them with the carnal tools, you fall into the trap of it and it overcomes you, which is what it wants to do. But if you're anchored and grounded in something greater, if you've paid attention to yourself and the God within you through fascination throughout all your walks up to that point, and you default to within, not out, you don't go run to any particular place. You go into the cave of yourself. You search for a cave like Elijah did. And you go within immediately. You will find a treasure trove of weapons. The only problem you'll have is selecting which one for this particular situation. That's discernment. But you will not be limited, as many others are, in trying to defend yourself, to hold space amongst this storm of a situation, giving you the ability to contend. You're able to expand in areas where just the average person wouldn't. You're able to expand in areas within this situation that others would feel highly restrictive in. All of this while standing in alignment to the law of your heart. Not the rules of these people's games, because who cares about their rules? You're standing in the rules, in the rulership of the law of your heart. Which makes you the more valuable. Because those that are coming upon you in any way they can, because they need to get a response from you that resembles the spirit in which they're coming forth from. It's a trap. It's the oldest game in the book. In spiritual systems, it's a trap for people to do things to protect themselves from you. And then they come upon you and throw something, throw a rock to get you angry. If someone hit you with a rock, you'd be upset, friend, just out of nowhere. You'd be like, you immediately will want to attack. But they set it up in a way for you to want to do that. Like a vampire, where they need your energy. And if you don't know something greater, if you're not wise to this tactic, or if you're not aligned to something greater that grounds you, you will initially attack. Even if you're grounded, you will attack. You will. You'll get to a place of fullness and you'll be like, look, I done had enough. And once they get you in that space, they can now begin the lies. They can contend and they can become accusers. Because that's the nature of their father. He's an accuser. They can begin to reel you in to their trap. Just out of that response. And it will take your knowing of what is within you to be able to maneuver yourself, to defend yourself from them trying to reel you in. It will take for you to know, to have a relationship with something greater than you that will inform you of what you should do, or you will have to have a experience in this, being able to discern what is going on in real time to protect yourself and to contend, all based upon a set of rules. It's difficult to wrestle with someone that doesn't play by rules. It's difficult because there's really nothing that you can really forecast out on. You can't predict someone that's unpredictable. I'm here to tell you, the worst person to have around you is a habitual liar. I learned this in life. If I get in a relationship with you and I find out that you're lying to me about stuff that doesn't matter, just stuff that you could have owned, but you rather lie to me about it to either impress me and make me like you better, and there's a pattern in that. It's not like a one-off. It's not like when I first met you, you lied and said, this is your car. And then, you kept it real from that point on, and we laugh about it and you tell me why you did it, and I can relate. But you constantly do stuff like that. Instead of owning stuff when I communicate, to you any kind of question about it, you'll throw it off with an immediate lie. Then friend, I'm not going to do anything with you. You could be the most handsome. You could be the most gregarious. You can have all the knowledge in the world of spiritual systems. You can be well spoken. You can all of that. I will leave you right there. I will not ever deal with you. Because how can you trust someone that hasn't even taken the time within themselves to come to terms with who they are, the reality of who they are, and to get them right? Yet instead of doing the work to get them right, they just fabricate and live in a fantasy and lead with lies. They buffer their lives with a whole bunch of lies, to the point that nobody even knows where the lies and the truths begin or end. They just blend. Yet, it's when the storms of life come. This is the point. It's when the storms of life come and you and everything matters, that makes these people such a burden. Because when the storms of life come and you can't lie anymore, what do you have? Do you crumble? Do I become the enemy now? Because you have nothing to latch to. There's no more lies to latch to, and you're not going to own anything. And I notice that with most of those types of people, it is when the storms of life come that they will turn on you. You become these people's enemy. Because they have not found it within themselves to really work on themselves and overcome the spirit that drives them to the deception of the lie. They haven't been able to come to terms with facing the facts and providing themselves with tools and resources in real time to be able to live a life where they can face the facts. They're deflectors. So no, I could not deal with that. But the one that is able to contend is the one that can face the facts. The one that has done the work, the deep, deep work in facing the trueness of who they are, because it's all you. It's never anyone else. It's all you. It's not how you dress up and go out into the public and present yourself. It's the you that's okay with getting rejected. It's the you that's okay with sitting alone and feeling just as confident as if you were around 30 people. It's the you that realizes that being around 30 people is a very vulnerable state. The fact that you feel like you need to have that around you to feel comfortable is a vulnerable place to be in. And so you've done the work to overcome that. The you that doesn't just go out in the world and go to the gym so that they can look athletically strong, so that people can look at them and say, oh, she's dedicated. Oh, she is, she cares about her outward appearance. She cares about herself. But the you that has done the work internally to be internally strong. Friend, if they were to see how strong you are internally, you would look stronger than all those that you see with these athletic physiques. You could be their personal trainer. You could be their personal trainer in spirit. For whatever sports team, whatever top sports team that they have in the world, you could train those people. You be a top trainer spiritually. And it is these people that go unnoticed a lot of times in the world because they don't make a lot of noise. They don't usually want to even be seen, friend. The people that don't get it any kind of way. The people that live by a spiritual code, a spiritual mantra, and it shows in their lives, are the ones that are able to be most valuable. They are the ones that can contend. They are the true ones that dominate. That's what should be aspired to. Let's bring that back, because that is completely capable. That is completely doable. All of us are capable of that. Not saying the outward stuff is not great. I think the outward stuff is great. But can we begin to judge people on their inner work just as much as we judge them on if they walked a mile or two a day, or if they went to Planet Fitness or wherever and worked out or ran around the block? These are the things that matter most. Being able to deal with situations in a righteous way does nothing but make you better. It might take you longer, but it's just like a total body workout. It works so many aspects of yourself out. It gets those core muscles You are squatting properly. You are getting the most out of the resistance you receive from the workout. So all the deception, the lies that come upon you, and overcoming them with truth and not letting it blow you, not letting it control you, that's one workout. That's one muscle that's being worked out. The people that tell you they're going to do one thing, yet they know that they're going to do another, which is another form of a lie, but it's another variation of a workout routine that focuses on another set of muscles. People that throw rocks and hide hands, overcoming the feelings that come with that, searching that thing out, and not letting it bother you, but overcoming it, that works a whole set of other muscles. All of these struggles we experience in life formulate a total spiritual body workout. Yet nobody will see them. That's the difference between physical fitness and spiritual fitness. Nobody really sees them until it's time to show all of their particular attributes. And when it's time to show them, they come forward like you would at any type of weightlifting champion contest. Your spiritual body's all oiled up from your anointing. And all of those muscles show. I'm talking about every time you flex one of them, it just shows. Mr. America or whatever the contest is. And your spiritual body. And you look like the epitome of fitness. All because you've taken the time to strengthen yourself spiritually. You didn't run away from the challenges, and you didn't approach the challenges any kind of way. You didn't lift the weight the improper way. You lifted the weight the proper way to get the maximum result from the weight. This is the point. And in the end, you are the greater. Sure, there are people out here that do it any kind of way, and they look pretty good, but they don't look hardly as great as you. Neither do they feel it. Mentally, you know you can contend. Mentally, they know that they can only contend with those that are just as good as them. You can contend with any of them because you did it the proper way. You did it the way that it was designed for you to do it. You didn't cut any corners. You didn't take any days off. This is my word for y'all today. Keep going. You're loved more than you'll ever know. I never stop telling you. I'm going to end it with this. We can use many of the great ones as an example to this. The Davids of the world. Moses even. Joseph. David most importantly. Because David, we see in real time, wrestling with this. When we read the Psalms of David, we see David's frustrations with these same things. And he's pleading and he's saying, why? I'm doing this resistance training, but the workouts don't seem to stop. When are the workouts going to stop? Because I've maxed out at my routine here. When do I get to rest so that my muscles can heal? So that my muscles can heal? So that my muscles can heal. 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 So that my muscles can heal And they can begin to restructure themselves from all the tearing that they've experienced in this total body workout. So I can see a result of all this work that I've done to honor the law of this system. We can look at Satan. This is a classical example of it. An individual of lease, bound to his own rules, uses his intellect, not his emotion, his intellect, to overcome and dominate. Yet he will use trickery. He will use lies and deception, thus making him the weaker. Makes him the weaker. He has to work that much harder. All because he has to use lies and deception. And it is the lies and the deception and the underhandedness that many of us do in life that comes back and bites us. It allows the rug to be pulled from up under our feet. We never think that we will get caught in our own stuff. We never think that people will ever see us for what we are. Nobody will ever notice because I'll cover it up with another lie. I'll just fix it. But God sees it, friend. And in God wanting all of us to be better, God sets up scenarios for us to learn from all things so that we get the most out of this life, because that is why we are here. We're here to have these wrestlings, to have these experiences amongst one another so that each one of us is better in whatever aspect that we are weak. And in the end, it is the one that is able to face themselves and dominate themselves and strengthen themselves up spiritually on the inside that are able to go out and slay the giants. They are able to contend and they are able to dominate. That's my word for y'all today. I have nothing but love for you in all truths. Nothing but love and truths. You love more than you'll ever know. I'll never stop telling you. Be good to yourselves and be good to one another. Peace and love.